Hi again, here's another upload. You know the drill, make notes of the important points. Spring and Fall by the Reverend Gerard Manley Hopkins, dedicated to a young child. NBSC has provided you with a text which has detailed explanation on this little poem, so you don't need to depend on any other study material, except this video, of course. Just kidding. Gerard Manley Hopkins, a Victorian poet who is famous for his usage of sprung rhythm. Spring and fall. We all know spring and fall, it means spring season, and fall season, that is autumn season. So it's about seasons, right? Or is it? Spring could mean spring season, it could mean innocence, it could mean a small water body called spring. It could mean beginning of life. So it could mean anything, or maybe it means everything. All of this. Fall. Fall is the British word for autumn season. So fall could mean autumn season. It could mean the biblical fall of man. You know, Gerard Manley Hopkins was a bishop, so maybe he means the fall of man, something to do with Adam and Eve and fall of man. Or maybe he means experience, fall, because fall season is associated with a person who has experienced everything already in life and is ready for death. Margaret, are you grieving over Goldengrove and leaving? Leaves like the things of man you with your fresh thoughts care for, can you? Ah, as the heart grows older, it will come to such sights colder, by and by, nor spare a sigh, though worlds of when would leave me lie. And yet you will weep and know why. Now no matter child and name, sorrow springs are the same. Nor mouth had known nor mind expressed what heart heard of, ghost guessed. It is the blind man was born for, it is Margaret you mourn for. The poem begins with a question. Margaret, are you crying because the trees in the Goldengrove are shedding away their leaves? They are just leaves. How can you care for them with your innocent mind and heart as though it was happening to a human? When you grow up, when your heart gets older, your heart will feel nothing anymore. You will see a forest of trees with fallen leaves, and yet you will not feel anymore. Then again, when your heart gets colder, by and by, you will not even spare a sigh. When is associated with diseases, so leaves that are pest eaten are diseased with pests. Though you see woods that are leaves that are shedding and dying of the plant diseases, and they lie there for the pest to have a meal. You will not cry anymore, you will not feel sad anymore. But then again, even when you grow up, does not mean that you don't feel sad for the falling leaves, does not mean you won't feel sad. And yet you will weep. Even after you have become a grown-up, you will still weep, you will cry. Water spring comes out from the ground and sorrow's tears. When you feel sorrow, the tears come out from your eyes, and that is sorrow springs. So here he says that the sorrows that you feel during your childhood and the sorrows that you feel after you become a woman, a mature person, the reason is same. Sorrow springs are the same. Your mouth may not be expressed with words, your head cannot, your mind cannot, maybe it cannot express, maybe your mind cannot comprehend the reason why you're weeping, but your heart knows exactly what you feel and what you fear. Your heart knows exactly the reason why it feels sad, and your soul knows the reason why you are sad, but maybe your mouth cannot articulate it with words, maybe your mind cannot express the thought. So what is this thing that the heart knows and the soul knows but the mouth cannot express and the mind cannot process. It is the blind man was born for, it is Margaret you mourn for. These two lines are important because it is a direct answer to the question that was posed in the beginning of the poem, in the first two lines. Margaret, are you grieving over Goldengrove and leaving? It is the blind man was born for, it is Margaret you mourn for. Now, blight is a disease or a curse. So, if you've been reading your Bible, you would know that God told Adam not to eat from the fruit of knowledge of good and evil. Because on the day he eats that fruit, he said, you shall surely die. So that was the punishment. Adam disobeyed, and that was the fall of man. So that is the consequence of the fall of man, for which of course Jesus had to come and redeem us. Therefore, the last two lines explain that Margaret is grieving over the fallen leaves, but she does not know, because she's innocent, that she, when she grows up as a human being, she is destined to face the same fate as all humans. That means we would all die one day. So she is also going to face death, and that is the reason why she is mourning. You also find the attempt of using simile in the sentence, leaves like the things of man, comparing leaves with the things of man by using like. Now, looking deeper into the text of your poem, you find, Margaret, are you grieving over Goldengrove and leaving? Goldengrove. The repeated use of G here denotes that this is an alliteration. Leaves like the things of man, you with your fresh thoughts care for can you. So here again, leaves like, it's alliteration. Care for can you, see, use of k sound. And other examples of alliteration are such sights, by and by, spare a sigh, rolls of wan wood, leave me lie, yet you will weep, now no sorrow springs are the same, nor mouth had no nor mind expressed, hard heard, ghost guessed. Those are some examples of alliteration. This poem is an attempt of using imagery, natural imagery like spring season and fall season, to bring out the difference between the innocence of Margaret and the experienced life of the speaker. Spring here also means the season, of course, where it is the beginning of new life. Spring is Margaret, who is in the beginning of life. On the other hand, fall is the British term for autumn season, and during autumn season in humans' life, we have gone through all the experiences, and then we are mature enough and we are getting ready to face death. So the speaker here is in the season of fall. He has experienced everything, and then he is matured enough to know what Margaret will go through in life eventually. Fall, as we have discussed, that it is related to the fall of man, so also it is related to death, the end of life. Spring denotes the tears of human sorrows, while fall denotes the death, the blight, the disease that we are born for. Fall denotes the curse that we are born for, the curse of death. Spring denotes the innocence of Margaret, and fall denotes the experienced life of the speaker. A person is speaking to a child called Margaret. So there is a speaker and there is a silent listener, Margaret. We find that in this whole poem, Margaret does not say a word. She's just a silent listener. But we know that she's there and she's grieving over leaves that are falling. So In that way, this poem is a monologue, a dramatic monologue. This is one of the simplest and most meaningful poem in your syllabus, so study and understand. Make the best use of it. All the best.